trains. They've been a part of our lives for over 200 years. All colors, all shapes, all kinds of places, and all kinds of people. Hundreds of millions rely on them every single day. They come and they go. And there's a train story that happened in 1862 that led to the creation of the Medal of Honor. This story is one like you've never heard. In April of 1862, the Civil War was raging, and the Union Army was pushing deeper into the South. With victories at Fort Donelson and the occupation of Nashville, Atlanta was becoming more of a realistic target. But before they took Atlanta, they would have to take Chattanooga. And in order to take Chattanooga, the Union needed to disrupt the Western Atlantic Railway from Atlanta. A Union spy named James Andrews hatched an audacious plan to do just that.
Growing up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, I was around a story quite a bit when I was a child. There was an interesting tale of this brazen group from Ohio that had the courage, the guts to try to infiltrate the South during the Civil War and steal a locomotive train engine. It's a spectacular look into how military leaders rapidly learned how important railroads were. We've seen the impact of the Great Locomotive Chase on both world wars. We've seen it across the planet in wars of all kinds. And Andrew's Raid is a story that needs to be told. It's a story that needs to be shared. It's also taught us a lot about espionage. This was one of the first spy missions that we know of during the American Civil War, sent to deliberately sabotage the supply lines of the Confederacy. As it turned out, it was a massive failure. Tragically, most of the men in the party were rounded up and subsequently executed. And the fact that James Andrews was a civilian leading this operation goes to show that during that time in history, it was all hands on deck. And I think that really speaks to the American spirit.
April the 12th, when Andrews and his party, they had set out from Shelbyville 24 strong. Andrews had provided them with a cover story that they were from Flemingsburg in Kentucky. And so on the morning of April the 12th, Andrews and 19 members of the party are standing there on the platform when the morning mixed passenger and freight train coming from Atlanta to Chattanooga rolls into Marietta and stops outside the Fletcher House Hotel, part of which survives today as the Kennesaw House building in Marietta. Andrews and 19 members climb on board that locomotive. They scatter themselves through the couple of coaches, and they then ride northward to the breakfast stop at Big Shanty.
When the raiders get to Big Shanty, the level of anxiety must have been as intense as the men had ever felt. The rebels had no idea an attack was imminent, and in the coming hours be a part of a locomotive chase that would go down in history as Andrew's Raid.